once, on behalf of the Revolutionary Communist Group, I'd like to pay our respect to the Kurdish freedom fighters and the martyrs who fell in defense of their land, their people, their identity and dignity, and in their struggle for national liberation for more than 100 years. From Seyit Rıza to Mahsum Korkmaz, from Sakine Cansız to Cahide Çetin, their revolutionary courage, commitment strengthens us and motivates us. We are here today to expose and denounce the current brutal invasion of Southern Kurdistan by the fascist Turkey. We are also here today to condemn the treachery and the hypocrisy of imperialist Britain supporting the Turkish state for the oppression of the just and heroic Kurdish resistance. Turkish assault on Kurdistan is the continuation of the barbaric colonial oppression of the Kurds initiated by British imperialism. It was Britain that for the first time in history bombed civilians from the air and attacked them with chemical weapons in order to suppress a Kurdish uprising in the 1920s. British imperialism used Kurdistan as a testing ground for new weapons, phosphorus bombs, war rockets, man-killing shrapnel, liquid fire, delay action bombs, the first used in Kurdistan by the British Empire. We should never ever forget that. And this is, to this day, whether it is a Tory government or a Labour government, British governments have supported Turkey in its oppression of the Kurds. PKK was proscribed as a terrorist organization by the Labour government in March 2001. In Britain, the police, the prisons, deportation and criminalization have been and are being employed against the Kurds and their organizations. On 14th of April, Turkey, a NATO member with the second largest army in NATO, started its military invasion of South Kurdistan, north of Iraq. Turkey attacks Kurdistan with heavy artillery, ground forces, fighter jets, and military drones. There may be no British soldiers on the ground involved, but British imperialism is in the weapons sold to Turkey. British imperialism is in the intelligence provided to the Turkish state. British imperialism is in the crucial missile component developed in Britain and supplied to Turkish drone manufacturers so Turkish fascism can bomb the resistance fighters and the Kurdish villages and towns can kill civilians with the drones, organize targeted assassinations and terrorize and traumatize the Kurdish people. British imperialism, and this is the reason why we are outside of the BBC, British imperialism is also in the complete silence in the mainstream media. Just check the online versions of the BBC or the Guardian for the last 4 months. Not a single piece on the attack of Turkey on Kurdistan. Compare this with the wall-to-wall coverage of Ukraine. A total blackout. Human rights, national sovereignty, international law, democracy, freedom, independence mean nothing for the British ruling class and its state and the British media. They only know to utilize it whenever it suits their own imperialist interests. And the Kurdish liberation struggle resisting against the recolonization of the Middle East and the imperialist domination of the region, fighting for the liberation of women, for direct democracy, for an ecological way of living in harmony with the planet's resources and climate, for the social revolution to destroy patriarchy, religious reaction, capitalist and colonial oppression is not in the interest of British imperialism, and that is why they are not covering the news. But the victory of the Kurdish liberation is in the interest of the working class and the poor in Britain. It is in the interest of the oppressed people from West Papua to Yemen, from Western Sahara to Latin America. That is why communist, socialist and progressive forces must lend unconditional and uncompromising support to the Kurdish resistance and do whatever they can to prevent its political isolation and to stop the aggression of Turkey and break the media silence. Evalan, yoldaşlar, comrades, At a rally on the streets of London in support of Kurdish people for their right to self-determination, we must also salute the heroic people of Palestine and their unbreakable resistance against the racist colonial settler state of Israel. Together, the Palestinian and the Kurdish liberation struggles are key for the democracy in the Middle East, and their strength is our strength to fight racism and imperialism in Britain. So we say, Palestina, Kurdistan, Intifada, Serhildan. Thank you.